The head of Mitsubishi, he's just said over the weekend that Australians don't want EVs, and I'm not making this up whatsoever. He says Australians do not want EVs, and he claims Mitsubishi has been forced into selling them, even though they don't sell any right now at all, as in zero. He says Mitsubishi has been forced into selling them by the government, but like I said, Australians, he says, don't want them and aren't ready for them. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Mitsubishi, right? They're going to bring an EV to a few different countries around the world. It's going to be made in Taiwan, I believe, and it won't be a Mitsubishi. It's basically Mitsubishi going to get a contract manufacturer to make this car because they don't have the funds to invest to build their own EV. So if you still think Mitsubishi are safe and won't potentially be another Nissan, then you've got to think very seriously about this issue because Mitsubishi, their new EV isn't coming until late 2026. It's going to be made by Foxtron. So if you get a contract manufacturer in Taiwan who doesn't really make cars to make a car for you, how good is that car really going to be? Mitsubishi says the introduction of the vehicle efficiency standard in Australia means it has to bring out an EV. Mitsubishi Australia's general manager, Bruce Hampel, said the brand's position on electric cars is that the local market is unprepared and unwilling to adopt EVs. He said, "We don't believe Australia is ready or the Australian customer is pulling for EVs at this point in time." What do you guys think about this? I'm curious to know really what people honestly think because Chinese EV companies clearly disagree with Mitsubishi. I mean, we have ArcFox are coming to Australia. We have Neo coming to Australia. We even have Lucid coming to Australia. We have many brands now. We have more than 130 different models of EVs, more than the United States has, and we're a much smaller car market. So the Chinese car brands clearly think Mitsubishi is completely wrong. But here's what Mitsubishi said. It's predominantly hindered by the lack of infrastructure. So Mitsubishi says because of the lack of infrastructure in Australia, Australians don't want EVs. Now, I'm just going to tell Mitsubishi this because they're not aware. I personally and thousands of Australians have driven across long distances across Australia. I've done at least 40,000 kilometers of EV-only driving, going from places like Brisbane all the way down to Melbourne. That's several thousand kilometers. And guess what? I made it. It's all okay. The infrastructure was okay. The infrastructure is better. It's getting better. But I made it. It wasn't an issue. And the truth is that even though I do these long trips, and most of you I know do some of these occasional long trips, 98% of the driving we do is not a long trip. So 98% of the time, we just charge at home. We use our solar. We use our batteries. We use, home chargers. And it's brilliant. You don't have to go to a petrol station, a gas station, which is just a major pain in the ass. Solar and batteries. I've got a 50 kilowatt hour battery here, and I've got a big solar array. So I pay $0 for electricity. That's including charging my electric car. Resync Solar is the company that I used. I'll put a link to them in the description below. It's so much cheaper as well. We've always been a firm believer that the plug-in hybrid technology is the good bridging gap, said Mitsubishi, as people adopt into a full electrified vehicle where they can get the best of both worlds. 80% of their usage of the vehicle can be conducted in full EV mode. So, is the plug-in hybrid the correct vehicle for Australians? Well, for one, I'd argue no. Why? 4 million, in fact, more than about 4.1 million Australians now have their own solar. Yeah. And really, the truth is, plug-in hybrids, while you can charge them on solar, it's true, most people actually don't. They drive them as just normal cars. They I don't know why, they just don't drive them as EVs. No, that's not everyone. But it's also worth pointing out that the complexity of these cars is a recipe for disaster. If you don't believe me, I've got a question for you. Why is it that plug-in hybrid fires are literally 100 times more likely? 100 times more likely than an EV fire. That to me rings some pretty major alarm bells. When asked by Drive, the media in Australia, if the emission standards pushed Mitsubishi to take the Taiwanese-built Foxtron car, Mitsubishi said yes would be the clear answer. So, Mitsubishi just brought in a new ASX small SUV, and this small SUV costs the same price as a mid-sized electric SUV in Australia. You can buy a Geely EX5 or Elite Motor EV, Build 803. There's numerous models you can buy that cost about the same as a Mitsubishi ASX small SUV, which comes from Renault. It's just a rebadged Renault from France. So that's the best Mitsubishi could do for their most popular car, was to rebadge a model from Renault, right? So this is the thing. Mitsubishi's most popular car. They've rebadged a Renault. Then they're saying, we don't have the funds to make our own EV, so we're going to get Foxtron, right, to make an EV for us in Taiwan. Is it really true that Australians don't want an EV, or is it more true that Mitsubishi just doesn't have the money to make one and is trying to come up with excuses for why they have no electric cars available for sale? None. So guys, I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on this? I personally am pretty disgusted by Mitsubishi and by their comments. I think that I can get if they'd said this, right? If they'd said, some Australians don't want EVs, some Australians do, so we're going to provide this new car. Fair, that's a fair comment. But to come in and say, Australians as a generality, all of them, aren't ready for EVs and don't want them, in my opinion, is kind of just flat out rude. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.